welcome back to my channel. I'm James, and this channel is always your #1 trusted source for everything physical media, 4K movies, and Blu-ray TV series related. And I can tell you today I've got a big video. And in today's video, I'm going to continue sharing some studio insider information and some of the conversation that I already shared part 1 of in my top upcoming 4K announcement video number 23. Now that's the video you see above. I will post it at the end of this video. So if you have not watched that video yet, you can go back and watch the beginning of it. It's about the first 7 minutes or so, the beginning of this conversation that I had directly with Disney in 20th Century. You'll want to check out that video I mentioned, number 23 in my top upcoming. That way you get the first part of the conversation, because there's a bunch of more information in that you don't want to miss out on knowing. Now this is the rest of the information that, as in that video I shared, I could only share some of it at that time. This is sharing the rest of the studio insider information and some things I've received from them since then, talking about some additional basically information of what's going on with Disney. And let me tell you, I have some bad news, I have some good news, and I have some very exciting news to share in this video. And I'm going to cover all of it. I'm going to clear up a bunch of the misinformation I've seen, rumors, and false information that's been shared around on social media and in videos. And I really am surprised every day when I hear just random things coming out that's not from the studios, it's not the plans, it's not what's actually going on with the studio. So I'm going to clear it all up today and give it to you directly and straight. And as always, I'm going to give it to you accurately, so you know exactly what the studio shared with me, what their plans are, and what is going on with Disney, 20th Century, and Sony, to let you know how this affects you as physical media fans, whether you collect Blu-rays, 4Ks, DVDs. I'm going to cover it all in this video so you know what to expect that's coming out here over the next several years and how all of this is going to affect the industry altogether. Now let's start off with some of the bad news. I kind of want to get this out of the way so that way I can talk about some of the things that Disney shared with me in 20th Century about their plans. But first of all, Disney Movie Club is officially closing down. After 23 years of great service, I've really enjoyed Disney Movie Club exclusives. It will be officially closing down and done forever on July 20th of this year. Now, the important thing to understand here, if you're wanting to get any of the previous Disney Movie Club exclusive titles that they have on there, the last day to order those, so you must have your order in before May 20th of this year. If you do not get your order in before then, they will not be fulfilling any orders after that. So even though they don't close till July 20th, that's for them to finish fulfilling all of the orders and getting everything finalized. But your last day that you can order anything is May 20th. So if there's any of those titles you have not picked up yet, have not ordered yet, that you're wanting to have in your collection, now's the time to place that order, because it will be closed after that and we won't be able to order any of those going forward on the Disney Movie Club website. Now, I will share with you my personal thoughts on that. When I did hear that from Disney directly, I was disappointed, though they didn't leave me hanging, because then they shared with me the plans and what's going on. So it didn't make me feel awful and horrible like I'm sure a lot of you did when you heard the news that Disney Movie Club was closing. And there is a lot of misinformation out there stating that Disney is done with physical media. And that's what I wanted to address and talk about directly in this video. Is Disney done with all physical media? Well, directly from them, Disney Movie Club shutting down is directly related to the deal that they did with Sony. And I'm going to break that down and explain with you how that affects us. So, Disney signed a deal with Sony going forward now that basically Disney is doing an exciting new licensing deal with Sony. And let me tell you, this new Sony licensing deal was signed by Disney to enhance efficiency and lower the cost of all future physical media 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and DVD releases. So it's important to understand this was not done to get rid of physical media. Disney is not stopping physical media. So when you hear that being passed around in videos and articles, physical media is dead, Disney's done with physical media, that is 100% a lie. And that is all just meant to be clickbait to get you to click on those videos. Now I'm going to break down everything that Disney shared with me that's included in this deal and what's going to be coming from this. But this is a good time for me to remind you, if you have not done so yet, make sure to go down there and give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. If you're not subscribed yet, you don't want to miss out on any of this exciting news or information or reviews that I do in advance. All of the studios work with me. I work with Disney, 20th Century, Paramount. All the big studios send me things early for reviews, and they also share studio insider information, just like what I'm sharing with you today in this video. So if you have not yet subscribed to this channel or clicked that bell notification, make sure to go down there and do that right now. Now, Disney did share with me during my direct conversation that during this licensing deal that they signed with Sony, this will give them exclusive access to the catalog of Disney titles. Now, this does not mean Disney is done. What the big part of this is to lower the cost. You see, Disney over the last several years, because they lowered their production of physical media, they had to spend a lot more to produce each of the 4Ks and Blu-rays that they were releasing because they did not have nearly as much of an output of titles. So their cost to produce these new titles has gone up drastically because they're not like Sony, where Sony has been releasing tons of 4Ks and Blu-rays every single year. So therefore, the cost of what they produce of each 4K and Blu-ray is drastically less than what it's been costing Disney. So by signing this deal, Disney is now allowing Sony access to, and will be working with Sony to release more of their catalog titles. So here's where I'm going to get to some amazing and exciting news. The new Sony deal will include manufacturing, distribution, and marketing of all new and future Disney 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and DVD releases of both new release titles and future catalog releases. Now, that is a big deal because what this means is we're going to be getting a larger output from Disney and Sony of physical media releases, both catalog and new release titles, specifically released from Disney's extensive back catalog of older classic movies and TV series. And it's very unique because Disney was very specific on its wording and explaining that basically this includes both movies of catalog titles and TV series of catalog titles. And the way they listed it out is it's going to be 4Ks, Blu-rays, DVDs, and all physical media related. So we are going to see a larger output from them. Now, the way they explained it as well, this new Sony deal will include Sony distributing and marketing of new Disney and catalog releases, but will only be distributed and sold through retailers in the US and Canada to consumers directly. So keep in mind, UK, Australia, Europe will not be included in this physical media distribution going forward. So this is very important to understand, and that's why I wanted to make sure to get this out correctly and accurately for all of you so that you understand all of what's involved and what's going on. So this is specific to US and Canada is what this deal involves. Disney is working directly with Sony to increase production, and this deal is specifically geared towards increasing production of physical media releases 4K Blu-ray DVD to US and Canada. So, sorry to say this for UK, Europe, and Australia, this is not including any of those countries. This is specific to US and Canada only. So this is ramping up production. So those of you that do live in Europe, Australia, if you live in the UK, for example, you can still import these titles. They will always be available through the Amazon US links that I post down below. So if you are wanting to import or buy any of these, just like I did when I announced Snow White and did an exclusive advanced review on the Snow White 4K recently, that was sent to me early for review from Disney. I dived into that and tested it for all of you. You're always welcome to pre-order and buy those through those links. They'll ship anywhere worldwide. Yes, you do have to pay a little bit higher of a fee, but you'll still be able to own these on physical media. And what this deal means is Sony will be producing and have access to the catalog, exclusive catalog titles of previous releases of Disney and their massive amounts from all of their different companies they own. So this is going to be a huge advantage for physical media owners. Now, Disney did stress that this new deal is not meant to be something negative for those that do love collecting their favorite movies and TV series, because the only thing that's kind of negative coming from this was the site of Disney Movie Club closing down, but that's simply because it's now all of the titles are going to have access through Sony then, going through Sony's marketing, distribution, advertising, so that way it's all done on that side of things. So that's a positive, but they had to close down Disney Movie Club to get to that positive. And Disney wanted to share another positive. Because of this new Sony deal lowering the cost of the physical media they can produce, they are therefore going to be able to release more titles every year. So right now we've been getting a few titles spread out over each year of back catalog releases that they're doing restorations and TV series from Disney+. I did ask about Disney Plus specific announcements and more Disney Plus TV series on 4K and Blu-ray going forward, and they did share this. Some of the previous ideas and plans that they were working on for things that were going to come out here this year have been slightly delayed because of this deal. Because now they are shifting all of that, and it's all going to be going through Sony. So remember how I said earlier in this video, TV series and movies? That's because that's all included in this deal. So they will be still planning on releasing more of Disney Plus content onto 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray. But here's what's included in the deal. Disney will still be handling and maintaining all of its Disney Plus and digital services on its own. Sony is going to be dealing with the distribution, marketing, advertising of specifically physical media releases only. So basically we will still get Disney Plus content on digital streaming services, and obviously any of the Disney releases through digital, Disney Plus, Hulu, things like that. Then on the opposite side, you're going to get where Sony will be in charge of doing distribution, working with Disney on restorations, Disney doing restorations of back catalog titles that will then be released, distributed, and marketed by Sony. So that way it gets a lower cost for Disney, so that way they can release more of them, and that is key. They are wanting to release more of them, which is what is involved in this deal, which is why it's very important when you hear a lot of things, oh, Disney's cutting out physical media, it's dead, it's over, all this is the end. It is not. This is specifically done to help and to produce more of a physical media market, because they do recognize there are collectors out there. There is a large percentage of us that love owning and collecting these movies. And they want to continue that, but be able to release more of these because they are hearing from us. We pay for those movies. We supported their recent Blu-ray releases and their recent 4K releases. For example, if you haven't checked out The Mandalorian on 4K, Disney was nice enough to help me. They had some Disney cast members and things that helped me film on location at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge for a really cool 4K versus Disney Plus streaming comparison between what Disney Plus streaming and the 4K release of season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian were. If you haven't checked out that video, it's available right now on this channel for you to watch. That was a really fun time. I really enjoyed that. But Disney has been wanting to do more of these things. It's just the cost of them, because they release so few every year, has risen so drastically, because the way that these are printed and such is you get a discount based on bulk, the amount you do, the amount you constantly bring to these printers, things like that, makes a big difference on the amount you pay for discs, packaging, so on and so on. And that's the way it's always been. But Disney so far had done so little, where they released one and then several months another one later on, so their cost had risen so high that now with this new Sony deal, it's going to drastically lower that, so that way they can produce a whole lot more. So it's wonderful news to hear this part of it. I know it's disappointing to hear about the Disney Movie Club, but there's so much other good news that came from learning this from Disney, my conversations. Like I said, we've still got exciting stuff coming out here very recently in the Aliens, the True Lies, the Abyss on 4K. Those are arriving here in a few days for me to start testing and reviewing in advance of when they're coming out for all of you. So Disney did let me know they're sending those to me early. I should have them in soon. But hopefully this new Sony deal will also prevent things like the Avatar releases that I recently did a review on for Disney. Those were sent early for review as well, and they have the casing of them as my biggest complaint of them. I really enjoyed the releases, but the cases I didn't like. Sony does a much better job with distribution than what Disney does for casing, collector's edition sets. Heck, I recently talked about my Columbia Classics collection. I love every single one of those. I loved Volume 4. It's a must-own, must-buy release. If you haven't gotten that release yet, I loved every single one of the films in it. Very enjoyable, wonderful 4K restorations. But their collector sets are very nicely done, individual cases. Whereas the Avatar releases, I did not like those cases at all. I love the discs, I love the content. They were a wonderful release for that side of it. But the boxing and the casing I really didn't like at all. Well, now that Sony's going to be handling all of that, we should get much nicer, much more premium 4K releases on Blu-ray and 4K that will actually, collectors will enjoy a whole lot more. Because you see, Sony, if you've been following me for a while on this channel, I absolutely love all their new Dolby Vision 4K releases, where they do brand new Dolby Vision HDR10 masters. They release them in limited edition SteelBook sets. Their SteelBooks are some of the best that are ever released. they are very good in the collectible game. Well, with this new Sony deal with Disney, they'll be able to handle that because they're going to be doing all of the marketing, distribution, all of that's going to be handled by them. So that way they'll be able to do a little bit more with the packaging and help Disney on that side of things. So overall, some big, huge positives to take away from all of this, not negatives. Yeah, we're losing Disney Movie Club, but guess what? It's all to be able to provide more movies and TV series on physical media, 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and DVD. And this does include catalog titles as well as new releases. So this will delay things a little bit as far as announcements. I do know about some things that are working on I'll be sharing here in future videos. But for right now, all I can tell you is it does delay a few things. Disney Plus content that had been planned, some restorations are going to be slightly delayed as everything's kind of moved and shifted a little more to have Sony handle that, to have it a little smoother and lower cost for Disney so they can distribute more of them and they can start announcing a whole lot more. So I will have a bunch more exciting information coming out here soon, but let me tell you, this is a big deal for all of us collectors. If you like physical media at all, movies, TV series, both of those are included in this deal. And this is big because Sony is one of the best in the game. For physical media restorations, distribution, marketing, Sony does an amazing job. And now they're going to continue, but doing it with Disney's products. Having access to Disney's catalog is one of the biggest and most exciting announcements from all of this and from this conversation that I was thrilled about. I was so excited when they shared that catalog. Catalog is the key word here. So we will see a bunch of this later this year because this is something that's going into effect here, and then it'll take a little while, like I said, and then we're going to start to see the announcements flowing in, and I'll be sharing all of that here on my channel. Now, this is a good time to remind you as well, if you do not follow me on Twitter yet, you need to be following me on Twitter. That's where I announce things in advance of me making videos because videos take me a lot of time. I actually filmed this 2 days before I released this video. So it does take me a while to edit this, to compile this, and then to release this video. But on Twitter, I can share things kind of instantaneously sometimes. So if you haven't followed me on Twitter yet, it is 4K Blu-ray Reviews. That's my Twitter handle, or X handle, X-Twitter. Everybody calls it everything. So if you haven't followed me on X or Twitter, it's 4K Blu-ray Reviews. But let me tell you, this is exciting news for all of us. Start the conversation down there below and let me know. How excited are you with this information? I'm thrilled. When I started chatting about it, I was upset when they first shared the first part. And then when they started telling me the rest of what's coming with it, I was very excited, and I told them I think this is going to be great for collectors. I'm very excited with what's coming, and this does directly flow into my previous conversation, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video. What I was talking with them about that I said I could only share some of it at that time is a lot of future catalog releases are going to be based on how certain titles sell as they're announced. So what I explained in that first part, in that top upcoming number 23, in that video, a lot of these titles, as Sony looks at them and Disney looks at them and they say, hey, we released this 4K, it didn't sell well, they're going to adjust and decide, hey, what catalog title to look at next. So keep that in mind as these are announced, just like with the Aliens, the True Lies, the Abyss. I'll post those direct Amazon pre-order links down there below, but keep in mind, everything that we spend with our dollars is being looked at heavily for what they're going to be working on for catalog releases going forward. So this is massive news and is a very exciting thing for all of us. Now, if you want to help to support this channel, make sure to join the Collectors VIP Club. As always, it's how I can create videos like this is directly through you, my viewers and subscribers support. So make sure if you haven't done so yet, join the Collectors VIP Club. It only costs you a couple of bucks every month, less than the price of a cup of coffee, but that directly goes back into the creation of every one of these videos. It's how I can constantly do this here on my YouTube channel. I'm not paid by any of these studios and I'm not sponsored by anybody. I can only continue to do this with all of you, my viewers and subscribers support, through the direct Amazon sale links I post down below every video and through joining my Collectors VIP Club. Make sure to let me know how excited you are for all of this. I'm really wanting to hear from all of you and how excited you are. As always, I've always got something new, early, exclusive, and exciting coming out very soon.